Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Once again, we find ourselves in Proverbs chapter 5. It seems like every beginning of the month we find ourselves in one of these three chapters. Chapters 5 through 7, as we know, are very important chapters. They deal with the issue of infidelity or sex outside of marriage or the affair, whatever you want to call it. And it's probably not a bad idea to begin every month with a reminder of this very prevalent temptation in our world today. We've seen this past year the fall of Christian leaders, well-known Christian leaders, well-respected, and it was a shock to all of us. But how do these things happen? Well, they believe the lie we all believe when it comes to sin, especially sexual sin. Well, what's the lie? It's simply this: that will never happen to me. Overconfidence is not a virtue when it comes to sexual temptation. There are no end of visual images we have to battle with on a given day. Just driving down the road, reading the paper, checking our email, the opportunities present themselves and they seem innocent enough, and they were in the beginning. And you ask if they'd like to talk, and they're crying, and is there anything you can do to help? And you start to talk and find out she's having trouble with her husband, and she seems helped, and leads to another talk, and before long the hook has been set and you're caught, and if you didn't even see it coming. Or a colleague needs a ride home. Her car's in the shop, and starts so simple. It seems so petty and unfriendly to say no, but that's often how it starts. It wasn't intentional, but one unwise decision can lead places you never thought you would end up. It can happen to you or any one of us if we're not wise and if we don't listen to wisdom. Let me remind you what wisdom says. Verse 8 of chapter 5 says this: "Keep your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house." Well, that's how to be a faithful spouse 101. Stay away from any situation that could lead to temptation. Meeting alone for coffee or online for a chat, have guidelines and make them known and keep them. Many would say, well, that's silly. But not those who are serious about their marriage, serious about faithfulness and integrity. Then he goes on, "Lest you give your honor to others and your years to the merciless, lest strangers take their fill of your strength and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. At the end of your life you groan, when your flesh and body are consumed. And you say, how I hated discipline, and my heart despised reproof. I did not listen to the voice of my teachers or incline my ear to my instructors. I am at the brink of utter ruin in the assembled congregation." That's the lament of foolish choices, of families breaking apart, marriages falling apart, children estranged from a parent, someone who's lost everything that matters. It's tragic and it's unnecessary. These verses describe one thing: regret, misery. Why? Well, verse 13 says, "I did not listen to the voice of my instructors, my friends, my parents." There's a ton of regret in our world, and a great deal of it is due to sexual infidelity, unfaithfulness in marriage and homes. You violate God's designs, and you always lose. One thing you will always find when people fall into sin is they were not listening to wise counsel. Steve Lawson likes to say, sin will make you stupid. And you read chapter 5 through 7, you will see one stupid or foolish decision after another. Proverbs says, "He who seeks his own desire isolates himself from wise counsel." It doesn't want to hear their advice. When it starts happening in your life, that should be a huge red flag. When you have to start hiding things, when you start avoiding being around certain people, or secrets start to creep into your conversation, or lies. Be careful of overconfidence. Satan is a master tempter, and he hears and sees our overconfidence. He watches our unwise choices, and he knows how to set the trap. Temptation never takes a holiday. Therefore, being on guard, guarding our heart, should never take a holiday. Satan knows your schedule. He knows your weaknesses, your temptations. He sees what you watch, what you read. He knows how to tempt, and he designs the temptation special just for you. And the most dangerous thing is, it's like drifting. You never sense the movement. You're getting further and further down the stream until you're caught in the current and you go over the falls. But it's also dangerous and it's subtle because it never feels like temptation. So rejoice with the wife of your youth, Proverbs says. Be careful of isolation. Be careful whose advice you take. There's a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. So be wise. Be careful of overconfidence, and guard your heart. May this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.